Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers.
Fat guy on a little quad. Fat guy on a little quad. Hey, if you don't hurry, this one's going to be mine. It's Cycle Search 2023, your opportunity to win not one, but two great off-road vehicles with Mix 96 FM and all of Total Media. You don't want to miss out on it.
It's something you and your buddies can take home and race.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV. It is Friday, and we're doing the morning news update with our good friend Pete Wilson, brought to you by Nia Henry, agent for Appalachia Realty. If you're looking to buy or sell or have any real estate needs, give Nia a call, 740-418-4135. And Pete Wilson tells me that we will also have a visit from Jeremiah and Red today.
Right, we're going to do it by committee today. Woo! So we're throwing us all at you.
Hey, it's a good Friday party.
Got your hands full, girl.
Oh my goodness! Hey, do you have Peeps socks? Because I have my Peeps socks on today. See, Courtney bought them for me.
Oh my gosh, that is nice.
Yeah.
Hey Jen, why don't you throw your leg up in the air so I can
Why
get
don't I
another
throw my leg up
screensaver?
in the air so that you can make a new?
Yeah, I need a new screensaver.
Haha, you're so funny,
You
James.
can get your leg that far in the air? I didn't hear anything crack or anything.
Well, that was it for the day. I promise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you do that end thing where you cross your legs?
No.
Okay.
None of that. Yoga is not my
I
specialty.
could do it till I was 6, and then after that, it didn't work anymore.
Until your bones formed.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So, no, Courtney bought me Peeps socks. I have pink ones and blue ones and yellow ones. So I wore the yellow ones today.
Okay, well, that is sweet. They make you feel good when you look at them, don't they?
Yes, they're cute.
Exactly.
Yes. So anyway, here we are. And
You probably have trouble eating Peeps, don't you? The candy Peeps?
I don't like Peeps.
No, I might eat the tail, but not the head.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know what they said? I saw this stat, since it's Easter weekend.
Yeah.
Some of these, you wonder how they get it. You think people must make it up. But the big candy rabbits, the full rabbits and whatever.
Yes.
75% of the people, when they eat the candy rabbit, they start with the ear. Yes, they start with the ear.
I mean, I think that's a fair, that's actually an interesting statistic. So what about you? If you would eat a candied chocolate rabbit, would you eat the ear first?
Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell on myself again. Just like a lot of other kids, the Easter Bunny did come to see us when we were younger.
Yes.
And, there's always the chocolate Easter Bunny in there, or even if it's cooler, the vanilla chocolate Easter Bunny.
Oh.
And you know what? They were cute, weren't they?
Yes.
I couldn't bear to eat them.
No.
I couldn't bear to eat them, and they usually got thrown out.
Pete, you're so sweet. Look at you with your soft little heart.
Right. Somebody might have stuck them in the freezer for a while or whatever, and then chopped them up or whatever, unbeknownst to me. But I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it.
Aw, that is so precious. What about you, James?
Ears first every time.
Yeah, I say ears first too.
Yep.
I will
If
tell you.
I did do the ears, I would leave one so they could still hear.
Well, that
the
was
other.
nice.
Yes.
So Pete was saying that he never could eat them. He couldn't bear to eat them because they were too cute.
Yeah, I mean, I have definitely had some like candy when I was younger that was shaped like stuff that I couldn't eat. I remember I had this like SpongeBob popsicle thing that I couldn't bring myself to eat. Because it was too cute.
Are such softies. Yeah. No, I will tell you though, and then we'll get to our news, I promise.
Yeah.
With the chocolate Easter bunnies, I did have trouble with the face situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could eat the ears, I could eat the feet, but like once I got to like here with the eyeballs and stuff, I couldn't. It was
Yeah, it's just like if somebody's
It's looking at
somebody's
me.
face is on a birthday cake with the
Yeah,
icing. You don't want to cut into that. It's like,
Or, well, some
it's like
people
it's
might want to.
It's symbolic or something negative. So, but anyway.
Anywho.
All right. Well, anyway.
Happy Easter, everyone.
Yes, it is that weekend, and we'll tell you a little bit about that later on if we have time. But we do have kind of some hot news, breaking news from last night. Very important.
Okay.
This is at the top of my stack. The city of Wellston is now the owner of the Louis Theater building in downtown Jackson. There is the Louis, certainly one of the most historic and famous buildings in Wellston. Now, of course, for the unaware, it has been empty for some time, not in very good shape. Structurally sound, they say, but no roof. That's a little bit of a problem, isn't it?
there's typically several sides to a building.
So Steve and Melissa Hammond, who live in MacArthur, but have Wellston connections, several years ago bought the building with the idea of, let's do something with it, some community center, performing center, didn't have a firm idea, but we're thinking in that direction. Yeah. Kind of like, almost like what happened with the Marquee in downtown Jackson, which was also in bad shape in its time. Well, they weren't able to get any traction, make anything happen, being private owners and all, not so easy to get public funding. And so the opportunity came up to demolish the building through the Jackson County Land Bank, because that's going to be a pretty penny too. It's a big building.
Big building.
And so they got the money to do that. Then suddenly Wellston City Council and the city government got some community sentiment, which I'm not sure how much there was, but there was enough for the city to put the brakes on it and say, do we want to try to preserve it? Because, it's going to be demolished in the first 6 months. They even got the money set aside to demolish it from the land bank so the city wouldn't have to do it. Well, they took 3 readings of legislation to buy the building for a total of $10,000 from the Hammonds.
Okay.
During this time, they could deliberate, think, contemplate. Well, last night was the evening of decision. They voted 5-1 to purchase the Louis for $10,000. The only councilman to vote against it was Roby Browning. The other councilman voted for it. Frederick Doobie was the only councilman who wasn't there, so he, of course, did not vote. But that doesn't mean that the Louis is going to be preserved long term. It means that the clock is ticking on something maybe happening.
Sure.
They're hoping that with city ownership, public ownership, that it might be easier to get, the public funding, from all this money that seems to be flowing lately through this and that. And so the land bank, which had a meeting recently because, it was on their to-do list, and they even had the money and had contractors ready to bid out that job. They say, hey, listen, we'll wait till the end of the year, and if you can't sell it, then we'll demolish it. It would have to be advertised again. And the city of Wellston agreed that they would pay for the advertising if it has to be advertised again. I don't think that there is a firm plan on what to do with the Louis.
Okay.
But the opportunity, the time is there.
Well, they
to
bought it
figure
some
that
time.
Out. Right.
Is what they did.
Right. And so, I'm sure the city administration and anyone else who might have some ideas will try to come up with a plan and then try to get very importantly, the money that would be behind it. I know from a previous story that we had that there kind of like an ad hoc committee Mayor Anthony Brenner has formed to try to think of what path they may take to make something happen.
Okay.
But anyway, the big news from last night's city council meeting, they did pull the trigger and buy the Louis, and at least until the end of the year or near the end of the year, there is the window open to still save the Louis.
Okay.
All right. The other big story this week, actually the bigger story probably, but it occurred earlier in the week, so we talked about the Louis first, was a resolution of the double murder case up in Vinton County Common Pleas Court.
Okay.
This was the trial. It started on Monday for
Yes.
August Christopher Schutz, age 35 of Wellston. He was a co-defendant. And that is Schutz, by the way, looking back at Phil Buffington, who was there to cover the trial for a couple days. He's back there looking back at somebody. You see a deputy on the right and one of his attorneys there on the left.
Okay.
That trial got underway with jury selection on Monday. That had opening arguments on Tuesday. And then suddenly, in the middle of Tuesday, Mr. Schutz decided to take a plea. He had been charged with multi-count indictment, including the most serious crime of aggravated murder. Now, roll the tape back. He is a co-defendant in the double murder of a man and a woman, and this was domestic related.
Yes.
That happened in MacArthur, March of 2022. And the other defendant, a female, Shania Jones, has already pled to conspiracy charges. So obviously, Schutz was considered to be, the prime defendant,
Yes.
the person who allegedly committed the actual murder of these two people.
Right.
But anyway, he ended up pleading to voluntary manslaughter, which is much less than aggravated murder. Now, the charges against Schutz, they were trying to cover their bases. He was charged with aggravated murder, he was charged with murder, and he was charged with voluntary manslaughter. That gave the jury and the prosecution the opportunity that once the testimony and the evidence rolled in, the jury could convict him of one of those three things, the lessest being
Sure.
voluntary manslaughter, which I should have looked up the definition to tell you, but it's kind of along these lines. You killed him, but you really didn't mean to. Maybe you meant to hurt them, but you didn't mean to kill them. Aggravated murder means you killed him and you planned it,
Yeah,
and it was malicious. Murder could be a heat of the moment thing, but you definitely,
Yeah.
shot them or whatever, and you should have known that they're going to die. It wasn't a planned thing.
Yeah.
Voluntary manslaughter is down a notch than that. Involuntary manslaughter, even a notch farther.
Yeah.
So, for whatever reason, and I know that there's lots of stuff on social media about this, people not pleased, especially some of the family members of the victim, not pleased
With
with
the
the
plea-
with the deal.
plea deal.
I know that Schutz had an opportunity for a deal before the trial started, declined it. What exactly happened? And, there's rumors out there on what happened in there, some procedural things. But the bottom line is a decision was made by both parties, prosecution and defense, to do this thing in the middle, which was voluntary manslaughter. No sentence yet from Judge James Salyer. There has not been a sentence on the co-defendant, Shania Jones, who pled earlier.
What are the possible sentences?
Okay,
Pete?
right. We're going to get that to you right now. He opted to enter guilty pleas to 2 first-degree felony counts of voluntary manslaughter, which it's still first-degree felony. He is facing 22 to 27 and a half years in prison. The sentencing will be determined later. Now, there's lots of talk that it could end up being less than that, in actual service or whatever. I've heard other people say that on a charge like this, there isn't any. You don't cut that at all. It's
Gotcha.
too serious of a crime. So I don't know, frankly,
Okay.
on that. But
We'll find out, won't we?
but anyway, I know that proponents of a tougher sentence, which, the judge is boxed in a little bit on what he can do, and there he just can't decide, well, this was aggravated murder. That's something that the parties decided. The jury wasn't in on that either, of
Right.
course, because it got taken away from them before it even got started. But 22 to 27 years, if you got charged with aggravated murder or convicted of murder or aggravated murder, it could have been life. Probably wouldn't have been death, because Ohio has kind of stopped that because of issues with the lethal injection and all like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's unfolded earlier this week. We had a big story. Phil did an excellent job writing that story up. It's online and, of course, was one of our stories on the front page of last Wednesday's paper. Of course, we will be following it closely to see when the sentencings occur.
Okay.
For both defendants there.
Sure.
Okay, another court case that just happened this week in Jackson County. This was a sentencing. It was for Joseph Lewis, age 48, of Wellston. Now, we talked about him, a month or so ago. It was the former aide at Christian Life Academy. There is Joe Lewis right there, who decided to plead rather than go to trial on charges of. He was charged on 2 fifth-degree felony counts of disseminating matter harmful to juveniles, 3 counts of disseminating matter harmful to other juveniles, another count of pandering obscenity to a minor, and a second-degree felony count of pandering obscenity involving a minor. So he had 2 different charges, but different degrees of charges and multiple charges. He decided during a pretrial hearing, this is before, a trial even gets set, he's opted to plead. And so he was sentenced this week in Jackson County Common Pleas Court by Judge Christopher Reagan to 10 to 13 years in prison. He will likewise be required to register as a Tier 2 sexual offender and will be subject to post-relief control upon completion of his prison sentence. He also could face $22,500 in fines if he violates the terms of when he is released.
Okay.
So this was one of those cases, that gained maybe a little extra attention out there in the public because, he was a teacher's aide at CLA.
At a
which,
school.
Has a lot of young kids there.
Yeah.
And, some of the staff and the kids were interviewed as, so his alleged crimes, and I guess we don't have to call him alleged anymore because he pled guilty to some of those charges, involved, the staff and the kids, or the kids rather, at CLA. All right, remember the young man from Madison Township, Dylan Waters, who was accused of wasn't accused of, he did stab his grandmother.
Yes.
If there's mitigating circumstances or whatever, it may come out, but he was captured a couple of hours later after he stabbed his grandmother, Connie Jenkins, age 70, at their home near Thurman. Holland Davis Road is still in Jackson County, even though it's near Thurman. He according to Sheriff Frazier, stabbed his grandmother 14 to 15 times. Somehow she survived, and I understand she has now been released from the hospital.
Really? Wow.
Stabbed in the face,
Unbelievable.
the neck, and the torso. Can you imagine being
No.
stabbed? I'm not a doctor. I'm not. I don't know everything about anatomy, but stabbed that many
being
times.
stabbed one time
and
would
you
be enough.
Well, first of all, if you're going to hit an artery, for instance, chances are you're not going to survive. But somehow she did survive.
My goodness.
Anyway, the reason I bring that up is that he made an initial appearance in court earlier in the week in municipal court. And they sort of waived the preliminary hearing, the defense there. So his case has been bound over to the common pleas court. So there very well could be an indictment. Okay. Right now he's charged with felonious assault, but that was just to get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
It could be more charges and more serious charges that will come out of the grand jury. So that's the case on Dylan Waters. Okay, a couple of things about construction projects that are going to be taking place. The Vinton County National Bank has announced that today they expect to maybe start the demolition of the McClure's Restaurant Building in MacArthur. The McClure's Restaurant Building is on West Main Street, towards the high school, not all the way out there. And, of course, the bank bought the McClure's Restaurant Building. They're going to tear down that building and build a new main bank building at that location. So they wanted to put out a notice that starting today, if the weather's good and all, they want people not to park there in the parking lot or whatever, or along there.
No, if you want to keep your car.
they're going to start demolition, and
Yeah.
then that will be followed by construction of the new bank building. They expected to begin today, Friday, April the 7th. Residents and visitors are asked to do so through their safety and through that of their vehicle as well, to not park and be careful when you're driving through there. I don't think the street will be closed. It is also, of course, U.S. Route 50.
Yes.
But it will be busy. And as I said, they will be following up with construction. And James, I think we have a photo of what the new bank will look like.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
What did you call it, Pete? I didn't see it in here.
VC National Bank, maybe.
No, let me look for it. I didn't see it, but let me look again.
Okay, if I left that off there, I shouldn't have, because it's the first time I've seen it. I know that it's been out there.
I think-
But the bank posted it just to have an idea. And,
They did.
they had a McClure's Restaurant wasn't that old of a building, but that's not suited to what they want it for.
Sure.
But what it is going to be the new bank building for public dealings there
Right.
In MacArthur. The current location, which is almost there on the corner, the main corner in MacArthur, the traffic light corner, that will remain in use, but it will be more like an administrative place. It won't be where the public goes for customers and like that.
I was talking to
That was on, James, if you can find it, that was also on the Vinton County National Bank Facebook page.
I was talking to our sweet Amanda the other day about the building, as she now works there, and she said it's going to be really cool. I don't think she'd mind me saying this. Their building will kind of pay homage to Vinton County's timber industry. So it will be a lot of beautiful, wood and that kind of thing. because they try to base the banks off of, neat local
Right.
aspects. So I think that when you see it, you're going to be like, wow, this is really cool.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I did want everybody to be able to see this here on our Main Street TV
Yeah.
morning show because
It's going to be neat.
it's going to be very nice. And Vinton County National Bank and the holding company, really has been aggressive in recent years, expanding their reach. Of course, they have the Jackson Center
There
down
it
here
is.
now. There it is.
Look how cool.
Isn't that beautiful? It almost looks like a hotel or
Yeah.
something. But that is going to be for you folks in MacArthur and for folks that drive by every now and then. That is what the lot where the McClure's restaurant is now. That's what that's going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like that's going to be a bigger building than what is there now.
I would say so.
But anyway, thank you, James, for finding
Yeah,
that.
thanks.
Also in Wellston, our friend Mindy Eisnagel, who helps us now at the radio, she is the administrative assistant, so busy, does so much there in the administration of Mayor Anthony Brenner. She was the one who worked to get a grant to do some improvements at the Kelly Lambert Park on West Broadway Street in
Yes.
Wellston. Well, things don't flow real quickly in the government sometimes. You get a grant, then the money's got to come, you got to bid things out. They're going to start work on that. They were going to start work as soon as Wednesday. I don't think they did. We sent a photographer up there. Nothing had happened yet. But
Okay.
they've closed the park effective Wednesday because they're going to start renovations.
Okay.
And they expect that the park will be closed for about 2 weeks, but they got a $75,000 Nature Works grant from the Ohio Department of National Resources. They're going to install a new jungle gym with a slide. There'll be 2 new additional slides, a 4-way 3-form climber, whatever that is, sounds like monkey bars maybe, a quad teeter-totter, a glider that can accommodate wheelchairs, traditional and handicapped accessible swings, an alligator balance beam, and interactive instruments like drums and a harp. So all those things coming at Kelly Lambert Park. And I think they have
go.
some picnic facilities there as well. So
Yeah.
I think that park gets heavily used and it's going to receive some major
That's
improvements
pretty
coming.
neat.
All right, we want to tell you real quick about this because we got many more local news.
You know what they should have up there?
What?
A giant trombone, and then you could go
Oh
up
yeah,
there.
now don't get into that now. Don't get into that. But remember, Jen, a lot of folks know this. We're going to have it in the paper. We've already got it online. It's a state thing, but it's just as important for local drivers too. That is the new cell phone law.
Yes.
Use violations. It is all about cutting down on distracted driving and the accidents, the wrecks that can occur because of it. And we all know about everybody has a cell phone, and if it's not hands-free, and a lot of people don't have that accommodation, you're to text, even to look down at your phone to make a call. I mean, it's potentially dangerous.
Yeah, and do we have somebody scheduled in,
Yeah,
James?
it's not
Okay.
official yet, but I think we're going to have someone from the Highway Patrol
Okay.
in on Tuesday.
Because we asked, I know we were in the works of asking someone to come in because I don't think
Yeah.
a lot of people, I think the law was announced like months ago, but I don't think anyone understood like the severity of this situation.
Right.
Like,
Well, beginning last Tuesday, it is illegal in most circumstances for anyone in Ohio to use or hold a cell phone or electronic device while driving.
yeah, that's not texting. That's like,
Right, there's some exceptions, like an emergency and things like that. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's the bottom line, to hold that phone. And of course, the biggest thing is texting. you
Yeah.
know. But
But you're not even allowed now to drive and talk on your phone, and they can actually pull you over for that, not just as a secondary thing.
Right, exactly. Research shows that 42%, these are the ones that admit it, 42% of Ohio drivers surveyed admit making a phone call on a handheld device. 25% said they've texted, 10% have video chatted, and 5% admitted to watching TV while driving. Can you imagine? I didn't even dream about that.
No, I mean, I don't know that I would do that, but I can guarantee you those numbers are exponentially higher than people are admitting.
Right, and when the patrol,
on.
I think the patrol deduces that yes, there's many more crashes because somebody doesn't want to admit.
Sure.
They might say something, I just wasn't paying attention. Well, maybe that's why.
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of the Highway Patrol, Pete,
Yes.
the Jackson Post will be having an open house on April 15th from 10 to 2 and this is in part to raise awareness of this new law.
Right.
Oh, okay.
There is a real effort statewide to
Yep.
promote and educate on this distracted driving. Everybody knows, but they want to hammer it a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yep, they do.
And I
So
think that's a good thing.
don't
It
be
used to be
out doing
seatbelts,
it.
and now it's distracted driving.
It is.
All right. Red is going to talk about a loss that we've had, human loss. Dr. Ivan Tribe, who taught at the University of Rio Grande for many years, a resident of MacArthur. Ivan died earlier this week at the age of 82, but he leaves quite a legacy, and I'm going to let Red talk about that.
Okay.
But the person I'm going to talk about real quickly, I want to acknowledge is Kent Washam, who died earlier this week of cancer. He was 73 years old, and Kent did a lot of things, but he probably best known as a teacher.
Yes.
He taught at Jackson High School. There's Kent right there.
Yep.
He is the son of, for the older folks, he is the son of Dan Washam, who for many years was the wheel at the First National Bank of Jackson. That's where
Okay.
PNC Bank is now.
Okay.
When the bank was so prominent in this county, he was the president for many years. Kent was his oldest son. Kent taught, he's 5 years older than me, but he taught at Jackson High School after I was through school, okay? But I can tell you, anecdotally, he is one of the more popular teachers to ever be at Jackson High School, English and
Yeah.
literature.
I sent, well, and of course, his son Morgan, who we've had here on the program, such
Absolutely.
a talented musician, and I sent Morgan a text the other day, and I just said, you know, your dad was one of those folks that, you know, there's I don't want to say there's very few, but there's always like those few teachers that stand out and whatever. And I can remember Mr. Washam not babying us, and I would say he was very integral in me being a success in English and things like that in college.
Right.
Because he made you think like a college student, not like a high school student. And he pushed you and he treated you to think outside the box. And I just enjoyed him so much as a teacher.
I'm so glad that you had that experience.
Oh,
because
I
did not
did.
have it. I just know of his
he was
influence.
wonderful. And he told the funniest stories, which were great. But just, I don't know, like just preparing you for later on in life. He was just certainly very, very important
Well,
to me
you know, when
in that manner.
Yeah, when folks get through high school or whatever, and you know, when they get to be older like you and even like me, you remember those teachers. It wasn't just what they taught; it's how they influenced you. You know,
100%.
as a person, you know, as a role model and
Huge
whatever.
influence.
Kent Washam was one of those, and so you know, I wanted to say that.
Yeah, I'm glad you did, because I was going to bring it up if you didn't.
Right. Okay. Well, I believe his funeral and calling hours are next Tuesday at the Mayu Brown Funeral, and we do have a full obituary online, of course, and it will be in Saturday's paper. All right, Apple Festival weekend for the Queens and the Little Queens. Little Queens
It
is tonight,
is.
7 p.m.
Can
at
you
the Jackson
believe
Middle
it?
School Auditorium, and then the older girls. We don't want to say the big girls.
The
right?
queens.
You know, the older girls. That will be Saturday also at
Yes.
7 p.m. at Jackson Middle School Auditorium. The public is invited to attend. Our Jeremiah Shaver will be there to provide coverage. So, you know, we'll talk about that next week when we come back on the news. But the contestants for the older girls are Kylie Duncan, Bren Denny, Ailey Jade Rippeth, Hannah Souders, McKinley Riley, Caitlin Gray, Abigail Plants, Cameron Mussey, and Deanna Houston. So 9 girls vying to be the queen, and these will be the 3 girls. At the end of the contest, you'll have a queen and a first attendant and a second attendant. Most of these
That's
girls
right.
are from Jackson High School, but not all of them.
Well, how many little girls are trying out, Pete? Did you find out?
I never counted them, but it looks like about 50 to 60.
Okay. That's about normal,
We've
I
got the
think.
list printed and online as well, too, if you want to check that out.
Very good.
But the Apple Festival group, I mean, they give up their weekends to do,
Oh.
their Easter weekend to do these 2 contests back to back. They've always picked that weekend because, you know, usually school is out of session and they can, you know, do their preparations in the auditorium and not be in anyone's way.
Let me ask you this. I don't know if they've changed this or not, Pete, but do they still announce the Grand Marshal and the theme at the Apple Queen contest, or have they changed that around?
I think that they've always announced the theme. Last year, they were slow announcing the Grand Marshal, but I believe that was just one of those years. I think they'll probably announce both of them at both of these contests.
Okay.
I know that
That's always fun.
The theme for sure. Last year, for whatever reason, it turned out to be Raymond Wyatt. The Grand Marshal
Yes.
announcement came a little later,
Okay.
but it gave more attention to it that way.
Yeah.
So that's two other things that maybe will come out this weekend, as well
We'll see.
as the little girls. They're on a different track. They'll name 10 finalists,
Mm-hmm.
and they will be vying to be the little queen for next year, even though
That's-
she's picked this year.
Right.
Right. So that's a little confusing, but that's the way it works. All right. Okay. We have visual evidence. We have visual evidence that the Easter Bunny has been in our local area.
What?
The Easter Bunny showed up at the Help Me Grow office in Hamden. There you see the Easter Bunny right there. Red Thompson was there too. And the Easter Bunny is going to be active throughout the county this weekend because we have a bunch of Easter egg hunts going on. By our count, we know of about 7 between today, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yes.
But one of the biggies will be at the Wellston High School recreational area. They're off State Route 327. The
Yes.
Sons of the American Legion do that. That's noon on Saturday. The Nazarene Church in Jackson will have one at noon on Saturday. In the village of Colton, it's not an Easter egg hunt, but the Easter Bunny will be there.
Oh.
That's from 1 to 2 p.m. at the Colton Community Building. And then in Vinton County, Lake Hope State Park will have an Easter egg hunt also on Saturday at 1 o'clock. So lots of things going on. The other Easter egg hunts as well, but that's a couple of them.
That looked far less ominous than your Easter Bunny experience, James.
Just it is what it is, I guess.
All right, and we do want to also tell you that as we speak, our Jackson High School marching Ironmen are still down in Disney.
Yay!
Look at that!
Look how cool that is.
There they are coming down Main Street with, of course, Cinderella's castle behind. And there were quite a few local folks that went down,
Love it.
Their kids in the band were down there. You're talking about 165 members in the marching band. Not sure if they all went, but that's how many are in the band.
So cool.
They all had the opportunity, all right? But 165, great experience. I'm sure they will remember that forever.
Yeah.
A lot of the parents who have other kids took the opportunity to go down there because it was spring break week.
Yes.
Out of schools through the parents, who are teachers or have connections with
Right.
the schools. So we'll have that picture and maybe some others from the Disney experience. But the kids not only marched down Main Street, that was Thursday afternoon, just yesterday,
So
but they
fun.
also visited all the parks there. They had voucher money for food. I mean, it was great.
I'm
and the
so
best
happy
thing
for
about
them.
it is, it isn't expensive. And how many kids would never go or be able to do this if it weren't for something planned like this in a big group?
Yep.
So congratulations to everybody that made that happen. The Jackson Band Boosters certainly they try to raise about $30,000. Can you believe that, to support the
Wow.
band? Because the school
That's
pays
so
a lot,
much.
but it doesn't pay for everything.
It is expensive. That's a lot of kids.
The band had its spring fling event last Saturday, and I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter if it's the biggest ball game in the world, maybe even a football game. I've never seen so many people shoehorned into one place inside a building. I went up there to take a few pictures. That was one of them I took. James has got it up there. I took that picture just to show you how many people there were. You're looking at the home stands in the gymnasium. Where you don't see people, that's the rows where you go up. You go up the stairs to sit down.
Yeah.
There was hardly a place not to sit.
Wow.
There that night, and you can see that was one of the earlier bands. I think that was the 6th grade band, that was the junior high band that was there, the 7th or 8th grade band. Later on, they had all the bands together, and they took up all those chairs there in front of the stands.
really
because there's
awesome.
332 members. Band members, grades 6 through 12 in the Jackson City schools. So the fling was a big success. We've got some pictures on that, or we will have some pictures on that in our Saturday paper. Do not forget that today is Good Friday. It's kind of a
is.
mixed bag. Some governmental offices are open, some are not. It affected garbage service there, so we have that list as well. Published online. It was in our Saturday paper.
If you're going to go to
as
the
well.
bank or do whatever, call ahead of time. So you
Right,
don't waste
because
your time.
it is true. It's some governmental offices are open and some are
Yeah.
not.
Pete, before we move on from the band, you mentioned that you showed up when they left for the Disney trip with your 50-year-old trombone and they wouldn't let you on the bus.
Poor
No.
guy.
So I don't know if you know this, but we actually have an audio recording of you showing up with your trombone and them telling you you weren't invited.
Oh.
I don't.
Oh,
That's about how it
poor
sounded.
Pete.
That's about how it sounded. That's about how it sounded. But I'm going to give up my chair now to Jeremiah Shaver, and I brought Jeremiah in because
Sure.
he may talk about a couple of things, but the main thing he's going to talk about what is surely one of the biggest business stories of the year in Jackson County, and that was, of course, the opening. The reveal, they say, of the new dealership building out at Mark Porter Ford. Just huge. Jeremiah did a wonderful job covering that.
Mm-hmm.
That was a front page story that was in our Wednesday paper.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of more things even online there. But
So cool.
I'm going to let Jeremiah tell you about it. But I mean, it is truly a major investment in Jackson County. With what they're doing and with an eye towards the future. He'll tell you about that as well. Then after Jeremiah is done, Red Thompson will be in. We'll give him a call to make sure he's awake.
Okay.
But
He is not a morning
he'll
person.
He'll be in to talk about the legacy of Dr. Ivan Tribe. And, you know, some people may not realize it, but he did quite a bit on what he touched on in radio, in music, and as a history professor at the University of Rio Grande and a writer, historian, and author.
Very
just,
cool.
Just a real Renaissance man. Okay, well, Jeremiah, come on board, sir, and
Come
thanks
on over,
again
buddy.
for all you do for Total Media.
That's right. See, Jeremiah's prepared for his hands-free cell phone experience.
Yeah, we're
job.
We're good to go.
Okay. So you're not going to get arrested on Main Street talking on your
I'll
phone.
probably forget and end up getting pulled over. We'll see what happens.
Well, I'm like, okay, so we will talk to the patrol about that, but I'm like, you know, what if you don't have a vehicle that has
That kind of technology.
Yeah.
Like I know. Don't answer the phone. I know a lot of people
But-
use the do not disturb feature on their phones when
I know.
they're
It just
traveling.
seems,
but-
I don't know. It just seems like mine only works half the time. Mine kicks it off constantly
Yeah,
because
well,
my
mine-
car's not that new.
Yeah, mine's 2011 and it does not have that feature.
Yeah.
So, but maybe I could get away with this. I don't know.
Yeah, and those are fair questions that we'll ask the Highway
The
Patrol when they come
headsets.
in.
Maybe we'll see a boom and the headsets coming back.
Yeah, like
Remember
our
that? Remember that?
headphones
I found mine the
acceptable?
other day. I was digging through a box of stuff and I found my old Bluetooth headset. Like people used to wear.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if it still works. I'll have to plug it in and see. Maybe
We'll see.
I'll have to start carrying that.
But yeah, those are all things that we'll ask when hopefully they show up next week.
I just can't imagine in that law it says that you can't have it up to your ear or anything.
Right.
Can't talk on the phone.
You can't hold the phone.
I seen the Jackson County Sheriff's Office Facebook page just put out something not too long ago this morning about the distracted driving, and there was a YouTube video that kind of explained the law.
Okay.
I haven't watched it yet, but maybe that'd be something to look
Yeah,
at
we'll
too.
have to check that out beforehand. So anyway, hey, listen, if you're watching this show, you now know. You have been advised.
Now you know,
So-
right? So Pete set me up to talk about
Yeah.
a ribbon cutting and grain reveal that I did on Monday.
That's
this
so
week
cool.
on April 3rd. Mark Porter Auto Group celebrated its opening of a brand new and shiny Ford automotive dealership there on the hill off State Route 32, and we have. There's Shane Porter cutting the ribbon there, and you can see all the Porters celebrating there. I believe we have a still shot there too.
Oh wow,
But
yeah.
you can see on the hill, I took this from across the way at another business to get this shot. I just wanted you to be able to see the facility and the parking lot. And there's even more of the parking lot that's not even in this photo.
Correct. It kind of wraps around.
Yeah.
And it's huge.
It is. It's nice, a very nice facility. I'll tell you a little bit about it here. So during that grain reveal that they had on Monday, before they had the ribbon cutting, they had, they had some light refreshments and drinks and stuff inside the dealership. Excuse
Are
me.
those cookies?
Yes, those are cookies
Oh,
with the Ford
cute.
logo on there.
Those are awesome.
Yeah, and they just had a bunch of other neat stuff in there too. There was like a watermelon that was had Ford carved in
Aw.
it. It was like looking at a pumpkin. I don't know if that one's on there or not, but anyhow, during that grand reveal, the Porters, some of them gave speeches. Mark Porter, who is the owner and dealer principal for Mark Porter Auto Group, told those in attendance at the event that they have great belief in what the Ford Motor Company is doing. Mm-hmm. And he noted that they invested in Ford because they believe in it. The brand new dealership, Mark Porter Ford, is located on the top of a hill, just a short distance northwest of the former facility.
Where's his tutu?
Yeah, he didn't dress up as the car fairy, did he? Nope. But here he is addressing those in attendance at that event. The address for the new building is 1362 Mayhew Road in Jackson, and that dealership actually sets on. So in August of 2019, the Porters had purchased just shy of 96 acres out there on that hillside where the new dealership resides. And they had the dream of building this state-of-the-art facility. Groundbreaking ceremony took place this past year. It was April 4th, 2022. And they had the ribbon cutting on April 3rd. So almost a year to the day from when they broke ground, they cut the ribbon. So I thought that was pretty neat. So the former Mark Porter Ford building, it's going to be remodeled here in the next few years, Shane told me when I had an interview with him. And it will house the Mark Porter Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram dealership. The address of it will be 1358 Mayhew Road in Jackson. The former address was 1360, so they've had to change the addresses around a little bit out there for where they got the two buildings now. And the new dealership there on the hill that is Ford is 38 square foot, and it features the signature Ford design. There are 500 parking spaces on the new lot.
Whoa!
So they'll be able to put a lot of inventory out there, and and as he told me during the interview, you won't have to worry about a place to park like you do down at the former facility. There, sometimes if you went out there, it was hard to find a parking spot.
If you take a vehicle out there for service or something, it's like,
it was a little
where do
tight.
You want me to park?
Right. I mean, when I went out for my interview prior to the ribbon cutting with Shane Porter, who is the general manager there for those two dealerships in Jackson, I told him, I said, I had to park out where all the cars are being serviced because I couldn't find a parking spot. And he goes, well, once we get everything, they should be, the way he talked, they called it a grand reveal. So everybody that came out was able to walk through the facility and check it out. They were hoping to get everybody moved in by the end of the week. So hopefully they may be moved in by now up there at the new facility. The picture James has up there now, this is their service bays.
Okay.
If I recall, I wrote a little bit about those service bays. Well, as you can see, there's a number of those different lifts there. I was thinking there was 24 service bays in that facility. Let me see here.
Whew. That's a lot.
It's here somewhere in this. We'll get to it. But so he was telling me that Ford announced last year that they were going to a program of having internal combustion engine and the EV, which is the electric vehicle. Mm-hmm. So there was like two different sides of the dealership, or you could have both.
Okay.
And he said that they chose to do both. And they went with all the levels that were associated with that. So they went with the highest level. And so he said, we decided to go with both the electronic vehicle and the internal combustion engine vehicles, as well as the highest level of electric vehicles we can have. So he said that what this means is that coming to Jackson in the near future, the Mark Porter Ford dealership will have two of the highest capability fast chargers on the market, where you can go and charge your vehicle there at their facility. And they will also have a number of level 2 chargers, which also charge, but just not as fast as what those high level chargers do. And he said that soon you'll see more electric vehicles in Jackson. Mm-hmm. He said they will be getting Ford Mach-E and Ford Lightning vehicles on the lot there. I looked those up. The Mach E, I think it's like kind of like a Ford Mustang type vehicle.
Yeah, that's
Or-
the electric Mustang. and
Electric
the
Mustang.
XF150.
We looked that
There you
sucker
go.
up.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat that they have electric.
I saw the Mach-E Mustang in Columbus. There's a big Ford dealer near Easton, like last Christmas.
Okay.
And how I saw that driving down the street, I was like, "What is that?"
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll have to take a drive out and look at those when they get them in then.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
That'd be neat.
Oh, by the way, this is totally off the subject, but I've been meaning to talk about this for a minute. So when Jamie and I were driving to Cincinnati the other day, we had to go there for an event. We passed this Porsche, and it was a 4-door Porsche. I can't remember what the model of the vehicle was called. And I was like, a 4-door Porsche, that's kind of weird. I wonder how much that would cost. So did you find it?
The Panamera.
Yeah.
Yeah, it starts at $88,000.
Well, the one that they had starts at $200 and some $1,000. The guy was
Wow.
driving, and I was like,
Yeah,
That's a lot of money
The
for-
platinum. Hold on.
it goes up to $400 and some thousand. It said.
Yeah,
a lot of
the
money for
platinum
something on the
edition
road.
starts at 101.
I'm
That's
like-
the highest one I saw. But
Like if you
Okay.
crash,
But
can you
that's
imagine
just the
crashing
base
or
price.
somebody hitting you?
I'm
Just-
like, Jamie, I said, pull in front of him
Yeah.
and slam on your brakes. He was like, shut up.
oh my gosh.
I'm like,
Do not-
what
yeah,
on?
do
It's
not-
not even an attractive car. Anyway.
yeah, do not park next to a car like
Yeah,
that.
That's neither here nor there. I was like so taken back by it that I didn't know what I was like. What? Anyway, go ahead.
Anyhow.
Electric cars.
Electric cars. So a little bit about the dealership altogether. You know, we spoke to Shane Porter during the groundbreaking ceremony in April 2022 about his future sale goals out there.
Yeah.
And they were aiming high with an overall goal of selling 2,000 vehicles per year, Jen,
Whoa.
out there between the two
That's
dealerships.
a lot of cars.
But I asked him, you know, during the interview that I had, you know, before the ribbon cutting this year, and he said he hopes to exceed those 2,000 vehicles per year. He said he fully expects to sell 150 cars a month between the new and used at the new dealership, and at the other dealership, he hopes to sell 75 to 100 cars a month between new and used. So some quick math, that puts them selling somewhere between 2,700 and 3,000 vehicles per year.
Ooh.
So it'd be interesting to see
Yeah. That would be great.
if that comes to pass. But he had mentioned, you know, the old figure of speech, you know, if they build it, they will come. He hopes that this comes to pass since, you know, they built that out there.
Yeah.
He said that he hopes that the dealership will actually also benefit the community. He said, you know, when customers travel to the dealership from a few hours away to buy, you know, say one of these new electric vehicles or whatever, they will more than likely have to, you know, stop in town to get something to eat or you know,
Absolutely.
stop at the store or check out, you know, the
Buy
area.
gas, do something.
Right, but yeah,
They're gonna stop and buy gas for that new electric,
New electric
vehicle they
car.
just bought.
right. Well, maybe they
Maybe
buy
for
one of
their
the
lawnmower.
maybe they buy one of the other ones. I mean, 'cause they'll still have the
Yeah.
internal combustion.
Shut up, James.
as well.
I thought Jeremiah was gonna say it, and then you said it.
I have that wrote out here. But
Yeah, he's like, maybe they stop in and buy one of those new electric vehicles and then go into town and buy some gas.
Hey,
Right.
Hey, it's Friday.
It is Friday.
listen, smarty pants.
Here's a little bit more about the service side of the dealership, Jen. All brand new equipment out there. It features 24 service bays and has a new 40,000-pound mobile column lift. He said that the limitations are no more for us, and they made a big investment in the new facility because they want to see it succeed. A little bit about Mark Porter Ford. They had been a part of the Jackson County business community since May 2nd of 2016, which seems like a long time ago now.
Yeah.
That you think about it. I know when I looked this up to see how long they had been here, that just seemed like so far ago
Yeah.
now. It says when they purchased the former Barnett Ford business and property at the Mayhew Road site, the Barnett Ford had been serving the community since 1972.
Wow.
So then in 2020, Mark Porter Auto Group purchased Call Auto Sales, which had been operating in downtown Jackson, for I think it was like 100 years or something, over 100 years.
It was, yep.
And
Long time.
that's when they were able to acquire the Chrysler dealership to be able to move that out to the site there at Mayhew Road. And Shane said none of this could have been possible without the corporation agreements they had with both Barnett and the Call family. And a little more about them. Not only is it family owned, but it's family run. Like I said before, Mark is the owner and dealer principal, and he acquired his first dealership in Pomeroy in 2006. After a successful career as a salesman and manager in the automotive business, his wife, Teresa, is the chief financial officer. His son, Shane, that I mentioned before, is the general manager of the two Jackson dealerships, the Mark Porter Ford and the Mark Porter Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. And then he has another son, Chase, who is the general manager of the two Pomeroy dealerships, Mark Porter Chevy Buick GMC and Mark Porter Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. And the Mark Auto Group previously owned and operated a large used vehicle business called the Mark Porter Autoplex in Athens, but has since sold it, Jen.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know if he was aware of that or not.
I was not.
I was not either, so when he told me that, I was surprised. So they sold it to focus on the Jackson and Pomeroy locations. But Shane told us here at the Telegram that company-wide they make $200 million in revenue every year between the four dealerships. And he has estimated that over 7,000 vehicles have been sold since they started the business in Jackson County.
Nice.
He said that him and his brother Chase have the hope to one day reach $1 billion in revenue. So anyway, they're big supporters of the community, always giving back. You always see them out at the county fair, so we talked a little bit about that. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap up so Ray can come over here because we're running out of time. I was going to touch on the musical, but you can look in Saturday's edition. We'll have a page featuring a number of photos from Wellston High School's The Addams Family.
Yes.
Covered that over the weekend. Great production. And we'll have a picture on the front, a feature photo teasing to the inside. So look for all that in Saturday's edition. There's already a photo gallery up online at thetelegrapnews.com.
Awesome.
So I'll step out of the way here and let Red chat.
All right. Well, thanks, Jeremiah, very, very much.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good Easter weekend.
While we're doing that, we need to do our cycle search clue for today. Let's see. I've got to find it, though. Hold on. Wait one. Okay. Hi, Red.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right. Are you ready for day 35 of the cycle search clue?
Yes, I'm sure they're out there looking for that key. So
I'll bet they are. All right. Here is day 35. Hunting for eggs or even task it, the key packet will fit in your Easter basket. So it's about Easter basket size. That's something, huh?
yeah, just keep looking. I can never find anything, so I'd never find it.
Me either, Red.
First of all, thanks for having us again.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate it. And today we want to talk about legacy. And certainly a gentleman who has not only impacted the local area, but the Appalachian region as a whole has passed away. And he left behind a ton of books, papers, writings, research, and that's Dr. Alvin Tribe MacArthur. There he is, Dr. Tribe. He was kind of a person who followed his own drummer. He liked to do his own thing. He was into what he did. He did it very well. And he was a professor at the University of Rio Grande. And he wrote several books. And I wanted to bring this one up because it's a subject that's close to me. Back in the day, this was long before the internet, computers, there were radio programs. And everybody knows about the Grand Ole Opry. But what people also knew about was the Wheeling Jamboree. And back in the day, before the internet again, WSM signal, which is a Grand Ole Opry, ended at about Pittsburgh. And this Willing Jamboree signal was also 50,000 watts from WBVA in Willing. They picked up about where WSM left off.
Oh.
And their show picked up the rest of the nation. So Willing, West Virginia had a show that was very comparable to the Grand Ole Opry. Matter of fact, stars would appear on both shows.
That's cool.
And this book, I took that picture when they debuted the book down at Rio Grande. And this was a tribute to that program. And the biggest star today that started on that program is Brad Paisley.
Really? Okay.
Brad is from that area, Glendale, the northern panhandle of West Virginia, and he started at 12 years old on that show.
That's cool.
And it might be just a little bit below the Grand Ole Opry, but that show certainly had national recognition. It's still on today.
It is. Okay. I was going to ask you that.
It is not on WWVA anymore, the powerhouse 50,000 watt station that blankets the nation at night in Canada. But it is still on a local station. It's still on the internet now.
Cool.
And they still have some big stars on it.
That's really neat.
So Dr. Tribe, I've been friends with him and his wife, Deanna, for a long time. And certainly wish her the best. And Appalachia has lost a true jewel of a contributor and historian of Appalachian life and culture. So we salute you, Dr. Tribe. And we also had another visitor here in Jackson, Lieutenant Governor John Houston.
Yes.
Came to see us. There he is. And the Lieutenant Governor is very proud that Ohio has snatched the Intel plant. He said that it's a game changer. He said that takes Ohio from the U.S. belt to the heart of the Silicon Valley. Mm-hmm.
It's a big deal.
And it's I'm not exactly sure where the site is, but it's in Licking County. It's not too far from the airport, I don't think. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, I mean, the great news is it is, they're going to end up expanding, it's going to be like Columbus just rolls into that, I feel, at some point.
Oh, it will. And certainly the Columbus metro area is one of the fastest growing areas.
It is, and this just about set it over the top. It was anyway.
it was. And having Ohio State is a great advantage to them. He also said that they're making major investments in the vocational schools in Ohio. And listen to this, Jennifer, most of them are filled up.
Yeah, I thought I was actually able to attend this meeting yesterday as well. And he said that, several years ago they had, any number of spots open in these vocational schools. And, now there's vocational schools in the state that have, 1,000 student waiting list. And it's like, what? And I know that he had stopped by Buckeye Hills before he came to Jackson yesterday and said that they're going to be full next year, which is just a true testament to what they're doing there, and it's amazing.
And we got a shout out to President Ryan Smith for hosting this event.
Yep.
And to Jamie Nash down at Buckeye Hills. He's just done an incredible job of filling that school up. And of course, the boom in Columbus is partly responsible for this. Our young people, they see that there's opportunities in Columbus for big money as soon as they get out of high school.
Absolutely.
So if they learn a trade, they could make $100,000 a year pretty fast.
Yeah, in fact, there was one of the gentlemen there spoke. He has a brick restoration company, and he said that a lot of those kids that are taking those courses at Buckeye Hills right now are starting out at $50 an hour with full benefits and the whole 9 yards.
Boy, I miss
out
life.
of high school.
I miss life somewhere.
So you're right. So it was so funny because Dr. Brian Rao was here yesterday as our guest on the program, and then I sat beside him at the meeting yesterday, same thing, and we were like, man, we missed the boat. He was like, I want to go back to school. I was like, so do I. We missed it somewhere along the way.
Yeah, I think so. You know, Jennifer, there's one more thing that, since we're talking about a little bit of history this morning, and this really isn't relevant to us, but a local area, but there'll be some interest in it, I think. They are in production right now to make a movie about country music star Charlie Pride.
Really?
Yes, Dennis Quaid, if you remember him from The Rookie.
Yes.
He's heading it up. He's going to produce it. And he's going to play Cowboy Jack Clement, who was Charlie's manager.
Okay.
And it's going to look at the social angle of a black singer coming up in the 1960s.
I wonder when you said Dennis Quaid was going to play in the movie, how that was going to work. But I didn't want to ask. Okay.
No, he's going to play. He's not going to play Charlie Pride. No.
You were scaring me a little bit there,
No,
Red.
he's going to play Cowboy Jack Clement.
Okay, now you're making sense here.
They are looking for a Charlie Pride.
Okay.
Simba Jordan's interested. So he's going to apply. So
Very good.
I talked to him about that. He said,
He
I want to
should.
play Charlie Pride.
Yeah,
So-
that would be great.
And we're going to see Simba at the fair.
Yes, we are. Very cool.
Yeah, and one more thing I wanted to mention before we get off here. I know we're past, but also back to the lieutenant governor. He also asked him about the Hocking Hills.
Mm-hmm.
And he said the administration is very interested in investing in the Hocking Hills.
Mm-hmm.
And with the growth of Columbus, they see it as a big tourism area
Absolutely.
for the metro area, and it can help our economy.
Huge.
So,
Big deal.
So that's all I had today. I just wanted to say things are looking good, and certainly condolences to the Tribe family, and congratulations to the Benton County National Bank on their new facility.
That's exactly right. All right. Well, thank you, Red, for spending time with us this morning as well. And we hope that you all have a wonderful Easter weekend. Hopefully some good weather out there. And we'll see you right back here on Monday. How's that?
All right, have a great weekend. Happy Easter.
That's right. Bye, everyone.
This just in.
The Telegram News has a new website.
TheTelegramNews.com.
Same dedicated coverage.
Same trustworthy news with a brand new look.
Covering Jackson and Benton counties and surrounding areas.
Locally owned and operated, TheTelegramNews.com has its finger on the pulse of the community.
Stay up to date on local events, high school sports, and breaking news.
TheTelegramNews.com.
Subscribe today at TheTelegramNews.com.
Check it out.